Is quiet time over?
I guess. Trying to figure out how long you were going to go. Episode 473 of the show radio, Daniela. Episode 474 of the show radio. Daniela, what did we talk about?
Let's see. We talked about, Double Switch.
Yeah, we talked about Festival of the Lost for Destiny. What else?
Oh, and Titans.
Titans. Episode 474 coming right up.
Realize my green screen's crooked. Oh my god. Okay, whatever. It's fine. It's hiding my suitcases and everything that I'm packing right now on the other side.
Your green screen is crooked. I didn't even. Oh yeah. See, now that you mention it,
I was like,
I can't help but notice now, Daniela. Thanks.
It's a good thing that they're gonna think that like I have it framed out so nobody can see that. That's good.
I don't see anything.
Right, we got it. You got audio. I know. It just looks nice and green behind me, but it's like
absolutely.
All right. Sweet. So now we're good. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm straight. We can roll right into it.
Let's do this. Episode 474.
Episode 474 of the show radio. Daniela, what is going on?
A lot. I'm doing this crazy last minute packing, which I knew that this was going to happen. And I kept telling people and I kept telling myself, thinking that if I said it enough times, I would be ahead of it and I would pack and I would be, proactive. No, I wasn't. Because my schedule for I leave Wednesday at noon. And welcome, Gracious Yamada.
What's up?
I leave Wednesday at noon and I finish work at around 5:30 a.m.
And then you turn around and leave at noon?
Yeah.
Jesus.
So
wow.
So that means I gotta leave here probably 9:30 the latest. Check in, do all those stuff, go through, the checkpoints to make my flight. So I'm gonna be no sleep on Wednesday. Immediately go and handle that. So that means I knew I had to go and pack because I start work at 4 in the afternoon. I'm working this 13-hour graveyard shift for the next 2 days. I'm not going to want or have as much energy to pack during the day. So I'm here I am rushing to do all these things. And my son's going to be at his dad's house. So he's packing for as long as I'm going to be gone. I have to make sure that he's all good and straight. And then, I got my sister, I got other family that, they got stuff going on. I'm trying to help with that. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And then today was I stepped out of my house today and I looked at my yard and I'm like, oh my God.
You stepped out. You sound like you're in a cave. I stepped out of my house. I took a deep breath and realized that I'm still here.
Yeah, I know. Oh, she says I'm on holiday at 3 a.m. and I haven't slept in so long. Oh man, you gotta sleep.
Yeah, get that sleep. Absolutely. So this is to your favor then. The last week and this week is to your favor because the show has been relatively short, considering that.
Don't say that. No. It has not been relatively short because
I can't say that.
Last show was 2.5 hours. And then the week before that was actually the shortest set of notes that we've had. And that was not short. That was another 2.5 hour show. So I don't know if it's in my favor. I mean, I'm not complaining. I don't say it's in my favor or not in my favor, but I already accepted. Here, we're going to be here. And when it gets done, it gets done. That's it.
Word.
Hey, straight Nasty.
What's up, man? Nasty, what's up? Thank you guys for hanging out. We appreciate it for sure. So yeah, so 474, definitely want to chat about, first things first, I want to talk about this Avid Media Dream Streamer thing that you are a part of. I think voting is daily until October 31st. Tell us about that. Let us know what's going on with that.
Well, I found out about it kind of late. So they opened up this Dream Streamer, they being Avery Media. Avery Media, in the past we've reviewed some of their products, but I've been actually using their capture cards. Hi, hundreds. I've been using their capture cards for, I want to say, almost 6 years now. I've actually, they were my second capture card that I ever owned. The first one was my Halpage, which was from the older systems. But yeah, found out that they were having this contest for Dream Streamer. I'm like, what is this? The only reason I found out is because they opened up signups for their booths at TwitchCons to be able to stream from there. And I was like, what's this Dream Streamer? So have this huge contest. Pretty much you make a video saying why you should be the next Dream Streamer. And they have this grand prize for this $3,000 streaming gaming rig, which I'm going to be honest right here. What instantly like, oh my God, I want to do this. I need to do this is because it has the GeForce RTX 2080 Ti in it. I feel like half of that rig is just that card.
Right.
It probably is. And so I was already a little bit behind because I think they opened this up October 3rd and I signed up for it the 19th, I think it was. And no, I found out about it. Yeah, I signed up for it and submitted my video on the 19th, but I think I found out on it a couple of days before it. But with my long work schedule, I was like, oh, okay, I'll make this video. And come the end of the day, I was like, I'm too tired to do this. And I finally, I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that during TwitchCon is kind of when they're going to be naming the finalists and, you know, that last push. And I'm like, I need to do this video now. So I was like straight after work at 1:00 in the morning, I'm recording this video, which I honestly do mean every single bit of it. I really do. I was surprised that I got it done in one take, in just one fluid take, the whole thing. And I was like, I hope that nobody notices how bloodshot red my eyes are entire.
Okay, so I saw the post and the link. Can you link it here?
Yeah, I can link it here.
Okay. And I will go ahead and share the link also in the notes for that. Definitely check that out for sure. So I didn't see the video, but I did see the post. So how long is the video?
It's just over 8 minutes, I think.
Okay. You uploaded it somewhere?
Yeah, I originally did it to Twitch. Because I tried their upload service. I don't know what I was thinking 1:00 in the morning because that was such a hassle. I only just uploaded the video to YouTube today, and that was so much easier. I don't know why I didn't do that.
Okay.
I don't know what I was thinking 1:00 in the morning. But it pretty much, I gave a little brief story as much as I possibly could in under 10 minutes. That was the limitations. About, you know, my history of me, what I did, and, you know, how much it would mean to me. What I didn't like, because I was thinking about the questions that they asked, because their theme is streaming, dreaming, and man, I kind of forgot the last bit. But it's what your goals and aspiration are. And when I was kind of thinking out loud in my head about, you know, what I wanted to say, I didn't necessarily like having to say, you know, I want to win this for me. Yes, I will get it myself. But there's like, I started thinking about everything else that I could possibly do for other people. And, you know, like just this past week, I have some friends that are going to TwitchCon that we're going to be meeting there. It's his third TwitchCon, and another friend, it's his first TwitchCon. And they only this past year started taking streaming kind of seriously. So I was able to make them some business cards because it's kind of like a last minute thing that they didn't really think of. They didn't know where to start off with. I started creating that for them. And it's not even just being able to create those types of business cards for other people, but just like helping others. Like I use my PC for so much, not just, you know, the show radio or my personal stream or for the girl streamers, but just aiding and assisting other people. And I know that Avery Media's whole thing is talking about, you know, being able to stream in 4K or capture 4K footage. Like, yeah, that is great, but it means so much more to me than that. So I hope that that message comes across to people and that they can resonate with it. I'm a little bit like, I'm so incredibly grateful for everybody who has been helping and pushing with me on getting the votes for it. But I might be a little bit just like the person that's in the lead right now. I'm like, really? You? I know, I'm totally hating.
I don't know what to do with that, Daniela.
Like me, I'm just like, I could do so much more. You just want to be selfish and think about yourself. I can do so much more for other people. Let me do so much more for other people.
Now this goes
But no, it's
through the end of the month, right? 31st?
yeah, the 31st, so that you can vote. Everybody can vote once a day, every day till the 31st. The voting counts for 50% of the overall winner. How did they word it? It was a very interesting wording. Here, let me read it. Your vote will count for 50% of our future streamer score. Choose wisely. You can vote on multiple videos, once a day, per video per day, but only the first one actually counts. So the other 50% comes from AverMedia, but they didn't give a breakdown on what criteria they're basing their decision off of as well.
Right.
So on top of that, the contestants that are currently in it, I think AverMedia has like 30-minute slots that you can stream from TwitchCon. And on top of that, people at TwitchCon can decide if they want to sign up for the Dream Screamer event right there at TwitchCon itself.
Nice.
Which should be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting and a lot of fun. Either way, they have some really great prizes. They even have a contest or giveaway going on for the people who vote. So even if all you're doing is voting, they'll have 4 winners that I don't know how they're going to be picking it, but I know it's among the voters for a Live Gamer Extreme 2 and some of their swag. I don't know what's exactly in that swag, and they'll be announcing those winners after TwitchCon. But I love their products. So I've always been more AverMedia than Elgato or, oh man, I don't even think there's anything else out there really.
Those are the main ones that people are pushing in terms of, the marketing is great for both of those actually. Thus far. All right, so definitely check that out. Make sure you vote for Daniela. She would really, really appreciate it.
I would.
Word. Okay, so Thursday I went to a NAB show. NAB show was actually Wednesday and Thursday, and that show is, I think it's called the National Association for Broadcasters or something like that. And they have 2 specific sections. They have the big budget broadcasting stuff that you would see in the CBS, ABC, NBC, those things. And then you have a whole nother section, which is, the mics and those things, portable mics, podcasting stuff, XLR stuff, whatever you can think of as far as mics are concerned, with those companies, they have that section. So, I pretty much did a beeline straight to the mics area because, I only had an hour. So by the time I got into the city, it was about an hour for me to walk the floor and then decide what I wanted to see before I left. So I looked around for some mics, and in terms of, what I saw that was of interest, really focuses on the stuff that we already use. And my thought process is how I can better that. Another thing I wanted to make sure also is, I don't know what the companies go through to make the badges available. So one thing I wanted to be certain of is not leave my badge there because I wasn't able to attend, right? So it was very important for me to get there to at least visit the show floor and do some quick connects, even if it was just for that hour, because they didn't have to approve me to just walk in and just be at the event. So, was just being mindful of that for myself. But aside from that, it's always a great show. It's a big budget, as I was saying before, a broadcasting show. So whatever you want to magnify in terms of, what these networks use, think of those things, a whole big section for that. And then you have the whole other section for the mic stuff. So that's pretty much how that played out. I dig the show. I'm still debating if it's going to be something that I'm going to do next year, because in terms of, the stuff that I already use, it's pretty, bread and butter for me right now in terms of the mics that we use and the things that you're planning to use, even for TwitchCon. That's probably going to be in your, in your framework that you're going to continue using. But we don't stray too far away from that stuff, right? Because once we have it set, it's pretty much it, So, I'm still debating what that's going to look like, for next year, if they approve me to go next year, and if, depending on the situation. So if it was Wednesday and Thursday this year, it may be around the same time frame, for next year. So we'll see how it plays out.
All right.
Word. That's what's going on with that. One thing I did see for technology, nothing too crazy in technology, but I definitely want to say, if I didn't say it last time, depending on when this particular thing came in, hard drive from Western Digital. So shout outs to them, for sending that. I did see Google Pixel 3 bootloader, a link for that in terms of, if that's your thing, you're considering to do the bootloader so you can, put different ROMs on that phone. Apparently there's a way to do that even with that new Titan security chip on there. So that's a thing. So definitely look into that. And that's pretty much it for tech. I mean, nothing really, crazy, unless you have something in that particular section.
No, I don't think I have anything. No, I don't.
Nothing there. Okay. So, definitely. So it's been interesting because, last week we briefly talked about DC Titans. This week, definitely made some headway to watch some of those things, as well as Daredevil. Just started watching that, so we're definitely going to spend some time there. So I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that. But quick hits, Funimation partnership with Crunchyroll will come to an end on November 9th, 2018. Any thoughts on that?
I have to see which shows of mine are going to be affected by that, really.
Right.
Because I love anime and I've been so super behind on it. I mean, I even got a new season of Sword Art Online to look forward to, and I'm already behind on that. Didn't even catch up on Food Wars yet. But I got to go and see which shows that's going to be affecting me on. If not, then I guess I'm going to have another subscription that has Funimation with it. And honestly, I don't think I have a problem with it.
Okay.
As much as I complain about not like having subscriptions to things, when it comes to anime, I don't mess around.
Yeah, you love your anime. Okay, so we'll see exactly what's gonna happen with that. So Luke Cage got canceled, right? I want to hear your thoughts first before I give mine. So what'd you think about that when you heard that?
I was actually a little bit sad about it. I'm sad about it, but at the same time, I haven't even watched what is out there, and
this is true. You mentioned that.
Yeah, and it is, and I can't give a reason why when I have free time, why I didn't put up an episode of Luke Cage. Like with the other Marvel series out there, like I don't hear too much people really talking about Luke Cage or talking about Iron Fist.
Okay.
Like, it's not leaving a lasting impression. But when it comes to Daredevil, it's like people are very quick to just talk about these scenes, like, and they love it. So that means, like, oh, I got to watch it. Whereas with that, I'm like, well, I guess I can wait. And I guess it falls into people who are like me, who probably led to the reason of low numbers for this show. Maybe. And I was told also that kind of had a dry story. And that even for Iron Fist, like, people were surprised that it even got a second season or anything.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what's interesting? So you got more on that?
No, but I don't think, well, no, we all know that it's not because of Disney's whole service happening there that it got canceled. It was a decision by Netflix because of just like low numbers. It was their decision to do that.
Okay.
Andrew says, I haven't seen anyone really mention anything about Iron Fist on a regular basis. Luke Cage was popular when it first came out, and then it just died out.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's pretty much it.
So definitely agree with that. Okay, so what's interesting about Iron Fist, from what I've gathered, when people were really talking about it, was the fact that the fighting choreography was like weak, and the season, and the fact that it got a second season was surprising. In addition to that, I barely saw any marketing for the second season, like barely anything. Whether it was word of mouth stuff or anything, nobody said anything about. So I thought they were kidding when they said, hey, there's a season 2 for Iron Fist. I'm like, yeah, okay. Really? I didn't even believe it at first, until, you look around and you actually see it. So you have that. Luke Cage, for me, dope first season. I was bored. I started getting bored watching it in the second season. And that's very telling. So if I'm sitting here checking out and multitasking for a particular thing, and so I'll just finish this thought. If I check out, then I know there's an issue there, right? And I know sooner or later I'm gonna start looking at Netflix, be like, hey, you got that axe ready? Because I know you're about to kill this show. Okay, it's about to happen, right? But so I wasn't really surprised. I'm glad that there's shows that we like right now, like Ozark, that's continuing on, and I need to go ahead and continue that particular thing, which is a great show. So I think that got a season 3. That was news maybe like a week and a half ago, give or take, or something like that. So I'm excited about that. But I don't know. I think just to do it right, to do it justice, I need to finish Luke Cage. But Daredevil, even just the first episode, I mean, that show is just, it's stellar, you know? I mean, have you seen anything yet for the season 3?
No.
Oh, man.
Not.
Oh, appreciate the raid. Appreciate the raid, man. All I had to say that he gets. Appreciate it, Taco. Thanks for the love, man. Nightbot loves you.
Oh, don't tell me you told them copy pasta that many. Oh, we gotta change that. We gotta up that or
Rasta
something.
pasta.
At least like 7.
I appreciate that, man. So then you have that whole situation with how Daredevil is just stellar, and you know, so I'm gonna park Daredevil, but I definitely want to hear. Let's chat about the DC Titans thing, because I was pleasantly surprised. What's up, Aaron? Pleasantly surprised with DC Titans. So I want to hear your thoughts first.
Oh man. Okay. So
What up, Panda?
how do I put this? I am so happy that I actually did subscribe to the DC universe, and I'm supporting it that way because I want to see this show continue on. It already has me from episode 1. And it's not because of the whole griminess. Like, I was very, very, I was very, I guess, cautious approaching it because of when they showed that teaser trailer.
Yeah.
I think the trailers were actually done poorly because I wasn't sure what to think of it. It looked cheesy. It looked like it could be really, really bad the way that they were introducing it. And I'm kind of happy in the same way because I set my expectations to be pretty low. So, are we giving spoilers here?
I mean, unless we plan to talk about it again, I guess. Okay, so the information that you're about to hear are spoilers for DC Titans as well as Daredevil episode 1, season 3. Okay, go ahead, Danielle.
So, when Raven's mom was shot in the back of the head, I was like,
that was intense.
Damn! And then the next scene where they actually showed it, like just showed the mom on the floor, on the kitchen floor, whatever it was, the dining room floor, and it is like the brain matter. I was like, oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, so I have a question. I have a question there. Is that the norm for DC stuff? I mean, because I haven't seen Gotham, and what else is big on DC?
No, not like that. Not like that. I mean, DC has always been has a darker image than what Marvel has.
Right.
And it's been a little bit grimier, and obviously in like this Batfleck era, like there's violence, there's, you know, he kills people, he hurts people.
Right.
But it's not to the point where they show brain matter or just blood and gruesomeness or how, you know, it's just not on that level there.
Okay.
So now that it's on its own streaming service and that they kind of don't really have that limitation, I guess they can do kind of whatever they want with it. But I think it's a very true to nature about, you know, if superheroes really existed, if Batman existed, Robin existed, I would believe that would be closer to what to expect in the real world.
Okay.
And leading into that, I think it's a very interesting take how they're introducing the Titan team, how they introduce Starfire, how they're introducing Raven and Robin. Even in episode 2, which I know you only said that this is the spoiler for episode 1. We are talking about episode 2 as well.
No, I said Daredevil. No, I said Daredevil season 3, episode 1, because that's all I got to. But for DC Titans, I got to both of them.
Okay. Well, no. I meant when you gave the disclaimer.
Word.
I think you only mentioned episode 1. I don't know if you mentioned
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, so even even into that where they had what is it, Hawk and Dove. This is just a very interesting way that they're introducing it. But what I am number one loving, which explains how in the teaser trailer that they showed with Robin, where he's like F Batman. So in this very first, like, I guess, fight scene that you can call it in the alleyway, where these bad guys and looking for Batman, and he's like, he has this look like, are you serious? I'm here. You should fear me. Like, why are you looking for the bat?
Yeah, that was wrong.
And he was so incredibly violent and just like throwing his, what, I don't know what those things are, his Robin stars.
Yeah, the shurikens, the Robin shurikens.
Yeah, because I'm always calling it the batarangs. But yeah, it's he. I guess for me, the way that I took it was that growing up, the way that DC wanted to attract children is that you had Batman who took on, these kids, these orphan kids, or the kids that are a problem. Like, he adopted Dick Grayson, the first Robin, and you took this boy and you're trying to protect him, but he didn't really protect these kids as you would think that your adopted father or caretaker should take care of a child. He would put these kids at risk. These kids would be putting their lives on the line for Batman. But you never really think, like, how, like, after that, how does that affect you as an adult? How does that affect Dick Grayson going into life? And there's kind of showing that I'm actually really appreciating it more, because you don't have a childhood like that with Batman and just lead a normal adult life. You don't. There's got to be some scarring issue, some psychological scarring thing in which you have some type of weird complex that could either make you turn to the dark side and go insane and go possibly the route of the Joker, or just, you have this righteous path, but it's so skewed about how to walk that right path and how to handle it because you've just been raised in this world of violence.
Okay. So here's a question. Are they accurately showcasing these characters according to the DC canon? Like this Raven girl and you said Starfire, right? Out of all the characters, I only know Robin. Like, I don't know if this Raven girl is exactly what she's being portrayed to be according to, is she that young? Is she older? Is she, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on with the character, presentation, for this DC stuff right now?
I'm trying not to hold on to what their past stories are.
Okay.
And I'm taking it as this is a whole new reinvention, kind of like, they go through the 52 series, the Rebirth series, and now there's this. Because originally I did kind of have a problem, and I was stuck with Teen Titans in my head. Well, right. They're all the same age. They should be the same age. But I like this better, that she is younger than, well, she seems like she's going to be the youngest in the team, because this is going to be more of a take about how Robin's going to handle kind of being in what Bruce Wayne's position was.
Okay.
Of, taking a troubled youth like he was, who lost everything, whose world was shattered, and, taking him under the wing. Granted, and, these first two episodes, that's not what they wanted to do, or that's not what he wanted to do. He already knew. He's all like, I'm like, he was telling Dove, like, I'm fancy, I'm not the same person. I've changed. I mean, he was trying to get away from that because he knew how much I feel that he understood, like, my childhood was not a normal childhood, and I don't want to, put another person through that. So he was trying to, like, push her off onto somebody else. And you have Raven, who is so incredibly confused, like she's being lied to her entire life. The person that was her mother is not her mother. She has these abilities she doesn't understand. She's scared of them, which I feel like if I want to go and stick with a cartoon series of Teen Titans, I wouldn't say it's necessarily it.
Okay.
I feel she was a pretty confident person in a way, very kind of reclusive, but confident in herself. This Raven's not so much. Now Starfire actually caught me off guard because I'm like, you're a call girl?
That's
That's
what it looks like, right?
yeah. And I was like, I don't know as much about Starfire outside into the comic history of things, but I'm like, she wasn't a call girl.
Okay.
But I'm actually super digging that too. I'm
Okay.
liking how her character is developing.
So Raven's ability is called what specifically in the DC universe?
I don't remember. You're gonna be start quizzing me on this. I am not great
Yeah.
in
I need to
remembering all
know.
these
I need
things.
to know all the answers because I'm watching this thing. I'm like, okay, this is cool. So, like you said, she's a call girl, Starfire, and then you have Raven, who's confused, troubled, just roaming individual who can tell when you're lying to her, and she has this. It's not a symbiotic thing. It's more like a reflection of herself that is totally opposite of her natural self, right? So her spiritual self is like crazy, straight killer,
Oh,
right?
yes and no. Okay, so I don't know what the name of her ability is, like Raven's ability.
Right.
Um, but I do
Yeah, we
know
didn't
that
fact check. So I didn't fact check. That's why I'm asking first. We're going to fact check later. Maybe.
yeah, I can't. She's kind of like an empath because obviously, like you touch her, and she knows what your past was, so she has that. I'm pretty sure that's what the ability is called, empathy. It's empath.
Got it.
So that sense, but she's not fully human. I mean, if you want to go by like the cartoon, which I know, she she's like half demon, so that's why she can kind of like have this astral projection of herself that
Right.
can have somewhat of a physical form, and then she's half human. But it's like if you want to go by,
But she looks
like,
fully human.
yeah, but she's still half demon,
Okay.
and that part it like lives within her. And if I go by, well, you didn't play DC Universe Online, like there's a storyline in there where you're kind of like fighting her father, and he's trying to take over her body, which is kind of what's happening. He wants the demon. I can't remember her demon father's name for the life of me. Wants his daughter to rule and conquer by his side, and that human side of her, that caring part of her, where I think that's how she got certain. Like she has that empath
Okay.
ability.
Here it
It's
is.
like,
Here it is. Healing factor, astral projection, empathy, telepathy, telekinesis, flight, teleportation, and magic. Those are her jams.
she's pretty powerful,
Yeah.
and she doesn't know it, and it shows that she really doesn't know it, and she doesn't have any full control over it. And even then, like she was talking about how growing up, that her adoptive mother here was trying to, like, don't get too angry, because she doesn't have that control. She like that anger takes the better part of her, anger or fear.
Like it ate that guy up in that room when she was tied up.
Yeah.
That was nice, right?
Yeah, it was, but I don't know what that guy was trying to do and how that fit in. I'm like, if she has his abilities and you just like probably a demon worshiper over here, why did you think that handcuffs was enough? Like, do your research. Like, you were dead the moment that you kidnapped her.
So what was up with the Dove, you called her, right?
Yeah,
And-
Dove and Hawk.
Yeah, and Hawk, and apparently they were involved. Her and Robin were involved a while ago or something like that.
I don't know that whole storyline. I really don't. But yeah, obviously, like somewhere inside of there, these birds, Dove, Hawk, and Robin,
Them
and
birds,
then
though.
you're gonna have a raven.
A word.
They had history together, and obviously that threatened or was very threatening to Hawk or Hank Hall there. So
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's
I don't know that whole
definitely,
story.
you guys, man, it's
And
definitely
same
worth
thing,
a watch.
And same thing with the family. Same thing with the family. I don't know their entire storyline. I do know that they're known as a nuclear family.
Wait, who are you referring to right now?
Episode 2, the family,
Oh yeah. Those they were activated to go do their mission, right? That was just weird.
Yeah.
That's like Pleasantville gone mad.
yeah, Meet the Beavers. I do know It took a while for me to like kind of register what was happening, but in the scene where the kids were injecting themselves with the
The
syringes,
syringes, yeah.
um one of them said sis and the other one said brother, and I'm like, oh, okay. I only lightly know about it. I don't remember who was telling me about the nuclear family, but in the comics, they're a robotic family.
Okay.
And I can't remember their creator, but he created them after the death of his own family, and he even like the dad is even uh a recreation of himself.
So they're
Although
androids.
that family was a family of yeah, well, comics they were. I don't know if they are in this one because they used well maybe they're androids and not robots. They use the syringes to inject themselves, which I'm assuming is like this nuclear formula because I think that's what the family ran off of. Anybody who's listening, please 100% fact check us on all these things. I'm watching as a fan, but I'm not, super duper know-it-all fan.
Right. So they're
I do know
playing
that
Monopoly.
They never had a name.
They never.
Yeah,
Okay.
the family doesn't have a real name.
Right.
Like that's like they don't. When they were created, they weren't given names. Like they're just mom, dad, brother, sister, and I think they had a younger brother. There's supposed to be a younger one in that pact as well, which I did not see. And I think they have a dog named Dog.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm serious. But that's as much as I know about the family. I don't know if they what their entire purpose were.
Okay.
But I think I kind of actually secretly like them as the bad guy villains right now.
They're just weird. So the syringes give them their extra power, their superpowers, basically.
I think so.
It powers them up, kind of thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that whole thing was interesting. So yeah. The first 2 episodes got me. I'm locked in. I definitely want to see what is going to, pan out with that whole thing, as well as I'm interested to see what Gotham is about, because I haven't really watched anything with that particular series, but I've always appreciated the dark cinematography that DC provides and most of their production, right? So I'm really digging it. I'm really digging it. So Daredevil, you wanna chat on Daredevil a little bit?
You can't. I didn't get to watch Daredevil.
Okay. So,
but you can totally go. I'll be fine with it.
This is only for season 3, episode 1, right? That's where I'm at right now, and I'm pretty much gonna watch a good portion of it sometime this week. But Daredevil is probably one of the best Marvel shows right now. In terms of choreography. The lines that they talked about. And, okay, so we didn't even talk about the lines, the double, I don't know if they call it that, double entendre lines that they had in DC Titans, which is great when they're talking about one thing, but you can actually relate what they're talking about to Batman and Robin's relationship and all those kind of double meaning for words and stuff. But the dialogue for Matt Murdock and how they play those scenes, it's absolutely incredible stuff. Like, if there's any show that is so good right now and they decide to cancel it, I would have a really major issue if they canceled Daredevil. I hope it goes, 5, 6, 7 seasons and there's an actual ending for it. And that would make me even sad, the fact that it would have to end. But it's so good. Like just the way they set up things and the way they remind you of things that's taken place in the last 2 seasons. The recap that takes place before you go into season 3, Kingpin, Fisk and his whole situation, and the characters the families that are connected to, Fisk directly and indirectly, just in the first episode of season 3 and how that's going to set up the rest of the season. Even the first dialogue or monologue, I should say, with Matt Murdock, with himself, as well as having the conversation with the priest, that in and of itself is just setting up the whole next couple of episodes and maybe the entire season for season 3. It's just really good. I mean, there's just some things that just really, really done well, and you don't want them to go away. And I think that, man, they just nailed that thing, man. It's really good. So it's only episode 1, season 3 for me, but it's good. It's good. Healing, process, confessions that are not confessions, commission to go all out, even if it kills him. And, the dialogue and the friends that are involved, the lawyers that care about him, wondering if he's dead or alive and all that stuff. And it's really good.
So, okay, I'm talking about that. And this goes for both the Marvel series and DC series. I know that Marvel has, they had the midnight, like the nighttime nurse and everything, but there's a scene in episode 2 of Titans in which Hawk was sitting in a bathtub, and he got into a bad fight. He's hurt and he's trying to recover, but he injects himself. He uses the needle.
Yeah.
And I went to Google because there's the moment in the scene where you can read what's on top of the bottle that he's injecting himself with.
Okay.
I went to go Google what it was, and it's actually, I can't pronounce the word, but it's a steroid that it has super purposes. It's to help increase hormones or testosterone levels in male and transgendered, but it is also used in helping to accelerate muscle
healing.
Healing
recovery?
in a way.
Okay.
Recovery. And you never ever think about, not everybody can be Superman. Not every person can heal quickly like Spider-Man. Like you have your basic human being, Daredevil, Batman, Robin, whoever it is, that they don't have actual abilities. Like, how do they just go out at night, get into these fights, get hurt, and then just lead a normal life during the day like nothing ever happened? It has to be, it's like they're taking their vitamin B shots. They are taking these steroids to recover. You never really think about those things. Like, maybe to some degree you do, but you never really think these normal human heroes are just abusing these steroids to help them just function like a normal person during the day.
Okay.
To hide their identity. So
Robin's superpower is what? If you had to give him something, what would it be? He's an angry individual, right?
I don't know what ability I would give him.
Okay. Batman's superpower, he's rich.
Yeah, he's rich and
right.
Robin's
Dove,
semi-rich via Batman. I don't know.
Right. Dove is what's going on with Dove?
They're just really good at fighting. They just have this way. I mean, they don't really have superpowers. They're just trying to be good people. He's really acrobatic for Robin.
True.
Well, we're talking about Dick Grayson, Robin, so. But anybody can be any gymnast can be a good acrobatics. But right now they're all really great, at martial arts and fighting. I don't know. I wouldn't consider that a superpower.
Okay, fair enough. Does he fight himself at some point? I don't know. Maybe an imposter, something later on. Maybe. I'd have to look at the trailer that you're referencing in regards to that. But it's so good. Like, if you haven't watched any of it yet, I mean, you got 2 full seasons waiting. 3 now as of Friday. So yeah, it's really, really good. So, okay, so you got Raven, you got Starfire, you got Robin, you got Dove, you got Hawk, which I didn't know who they were. I didn't know who Dove was or Hawk until today. Okay, so that's pretty much how that played out. So Daredevil is good. Definitely check that out. Anything else you're checking out on the streaming platforms or just movies in general?
I've been watching a lot. I don't even know what I've been watching. I've been having stuff in the background and stuff that has nothing to do with superheroes. I finally watched Penny Dreadful, but that's that only had 3 seasons. That's not going to be happening anymore.
Okay.
I don't know. I know I watched a lot this past thing to have background noise, but I don't even remember what it is. I'm watching a really weird cooking show. I can tell you that. It's a really long name.
Okay.
It's on Netflix. Now I gotta go and find it because it's the weirdest cooking show that I've ever seen. And it's basically this woman lives in this monster house where she adopts her wolf, a mummified cat, and
What?
a horny raccoon. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding about these things. And then she teaches you how to cook stuff and bake. But then as she's like talking, like you know how she's talking to the audience, that's you watching. It's like, oh, this is what you need for there. And then you have like the cat and the wolf being like, who is she talking to? The Curious Creations of Christine McConaughey. That's what it is.
That's a name right there.
It's McConnell, not McConaughey. McConnell, yeah, that's what it is. The Curious Creations of Christine McConnell. It's on Netflix. It's the weirdest thing, but like, it's a cooking show.
That's crazy.
It is.
Yeah, so that's what we're diving into right now. I'm digging it. I'm digging what I'm seeing. Kind of interested in Gotham right now based on what I'm seeing right now for the DC Titans. Arrow, I kind of lost track on that. Flash, I kind of dropped. Supergirl, I dropped. Which there's so many stuff. Black Lightning, that's a thing.
And then silence, and that's the thing.
That's all I got. That's all I got. That's all I got for it right now. So that's pretty much it for entertainment news. Yeah, that's all we got there. So ProXPN is a free VPN service that secures your internet connection against eavesdropping, masks your location, allows you to access your favorite websites no matter where you live or travel to. And right now my PlayStation is shutting off. So you get 20% off your account. Visit dshradio.info/ProXPN and use the promo code SHORAM for 20% off the lifetime of your account. This episode is also brought to you by Blue Apron. Blue Apron makes cooking fun and easy. Blue Apron provides you with all the ingredients that you need to make a delicious meal in exactly the right proportions. To get $30 off of your first Blue Apron order, visit theshowradio.info/Blue Apron. All right, so I definitely want to say if you have any questions while we're here, definitely post your questions before we get out of here. I was saying at the top of the show that this show is relatively short, but Daniela disagrees, and that is all good. I have been trying to get my wife to watch the
Haunting of House Hill.
And so far, no success.
I watched one episode of that. I do say I did start one episode of that.
What is that on?
Not too scary. It's actually pretty good. It's on Netflix.
Okay, got it. See, I don't know all the shows like that. I watched
one episode of it, and I don't say it's bad. I'm liking it. Then I'm going to continue watching it.
Got it. Very interesting. Yeah. So, my bestie likes it. Yeah.
Try asked, why did you drop Flash? Flash, a TV series?
Yeah, because I had so many other things that I wanted to watch, and I think that what's happening with me now is there's no urgency for me to watch any of these shows. That's the truth.
Really?
There's no urgency to watch any of these shows. I'll watch Daredevil. There's no urgency for me to finish Luke Cage or watch second season of Iron Fist, because in terms of consumption for me right now, it's really mostly a good portion of it is podcasts. Those conversations to me are more, I can apply those quicker as far as life application is concerned, because I love listening to conversations that I could apply right away once I'm done listening to them. And I think there's always, whether it's, an interview-based podcast, a stand-up host that does great conversations, I'm always learning from those conversations. Even recently with Joe Rogan and Roseanne, that was an interesting conversation. Just watching what mental stability, whether it's good or not so good, sounds like in a conversation, right? So I think that, so things like that, I think for me, when it comes to those shows, although I love them for what they are and what they represent, and they finally allow me to see those comics brought to life one or two of them here and there is great for me. But in terms of trying to binge it all at once, it would have to be like a really, really special show for me to do that. So I'm even going to pace myself with season 3 of Daredevil, as good as it is. DC Titans, you know, 2 for 2, right? So far, it's really good. It's intriguing. It's new to me, right? But I think once I get past the newness of it, then, you know, there may or may not be an urgency there. I think Arrow was watching it religiously at some point, and somewhere between season 3 and season 4, I think either one of those seasons was so bad it was a turnoff, and I don't think I've ever been back to it since. I know they recouped, that, you know, they recovered, I should say, and it got better, but I think that's essentially is there's no urgency for me to watch most of these shows.
So when you're talking about The Flash, like I feel the opposite. Like, the only reason why I stopped kind of watching the Flash and the Arrow series wasn't because I wanted to. I got a little bit overwhelmed. Like, I love all the crossovers. I love how each of the shows have something to do with the other and they tie in a lot. I took a little bit of a break. I didn't realize how long this little of a break was.
Right.
Because last week Thursday, I think, I was like, oh, I want to put something up to have on while I'm working. It's going to be sitting on my desk for a bit. So I went to go and Google up the order in which I should watch these episodes. Not thinking like, maybe I'll have like a year of stuff to watch, like over the past year. Apparently I've not been watching for like 2 some odd years. I didn't realize that.
Wow.
And the list was insane that I just closed it. I'm like, maybe another day. This list just overwhelmed me and scared me. I'll come back.
So I'll even add to this, right? To put into perspective, there's no incentive for me to watch those shows except for their reputation, right? But when it comes to games that give us incentive to play and rewards us, I find myself sticking to those things more than I am the actual shows. The incentive for me to listen to the shows I listen to is because I know for a fact that there's going to be great conversations, as I said, that's going to allow me to apply those things. And since I'm retaining 30% of that, that's becoming in my knowledge base, right? That I can share, whether it's on the show or apply it to, you know, the industry stuff for the video games and, you know, how I respond back to email. Any of those things can help me as it relates to those things, right? So the games that we play now, depending on the kind of game that you play, most of them now give you an incentive to come back, whether it's a weekly incentive, a daily incentive, that kind of a thing, right? So, which we'll talk about later on, you know, as far as some of the things that we've been checking out. If it's timed, if there's a time limit there, and there's an incentive for me to increase my rep in the game, I'm going to probably find time to set that up so I can play that and get that reward, right? But I'm not being rewarded in any way, shape, or form for the shows that I'm watching outside of the fact that we can talk about it, you and I, on the show, and we can have a conversation surrounding that and then get all the questions asked, you know, in regards to what we've been checking out and stuff like that. Outside of that, you know, pure enjoyment, right? Because we just like what we like, but that's really it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
much. And so doesn't like Arrow.
Yeah. So that's pretty much how that plays out. First things first, as far as the video game news is concerned, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, that did 500 mil in the first 3 days, which is, I have thoughts there. I want to hear your thoughts, and then I can jump into that one.
Oh man, good for them. No, like I was saying, it's much, even if I don't like Call of Duty, I have to give it to them that this is their smoothest launch. Like you said, it was just this amazing launch, and I don't think, yes, I am a COD hater. I am. I don't think I heard anybody really say anything bad as far as the game itself, the launch, being able to play it. other than like, I mean, it's people obviously if they're losing and they're having a bad day or bad streak, they're going to complain. But I mostly hear a lot of people just loving everything about it. I think I was talking to my brother before our show. I was FaceTiming with him, and shout out to my brother who does not watch my streams, but he watches other people's streams. He listens to the show too sometimes, so I hope he hears this.
Appreciate it, bro.
But he says that he was watching one of his favorite streamers. I think it was on YouTube or something. Don't remember the guy's name. And something happened to his character, and the streamer broke down crying because he was so invested into this, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry that this happened to you." Da 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 da. But it's just like you have people like that who are so invested in their character and what's happening to the game, even though it doesn't really have a storyline. It's just all multiplayer. They're still invested in it. They're still. It's kind of just. I think they actually did something right this year.
Yeah. They listened, they watched, they implemented, and I think they did, really, really, really well. So one of the things I really appreciated and enjoyed about watching some of the numbers being announced with certain games, certain titles, certain developers, that kind of a thing, is over the years, there was one season where whenever a Call of Duty game came out, we saw the numbers right away. And as the numbers started changing or not up to their standards for them to actually announce, and then they did the studio, a studio a year kind of thing. They went to that particular cycle of development. They didn't announce those numbers as aggressively as they did the first 4 or 5 years, right? So we're going back Call of Duty 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to like the Modern Warfare, and then the 2 Modern Warfare, 3 Modern Warfare. So we're going to that era where they were aggressively announcing those metrics and those numbers for sales the first couple of days, the first couple of weeks. And then when they went into let's do this developer year 1 and then year 2 and year 3, and they flopped the developers around, then they didn't announce them as much. And now it was very interesting how after seeing all the changes that has taken place for the last, 10 years or something like that, for Call of Duty, to see how they implemented the blackout thing and not really a campaign, right? And if you want some kind of storyline experience, you have the zombies portion of it, and they announced those numbers that fast, and most of it was digital, and that was like really, really good for them. So just to watch that play out over the years, haven't played most of the Call of Duties. I think I missed maybe 2 or 3, the first 2, but ever since then, I think I've played most of the ones that have come out, and it's been good. Black Ops 4 is really, really good.
The only thing that I don't know if there is information out there about, but I don't know what it is. I want to know what they plan to do on the future support of Blackout, because a lot of people I know have been enjoying Blackout as that new BR and jumping in on it and enjoying themselves with it. So I want to know how they're going to continue that. Are they going to stick with just Blackout and push out additional DLC for it as it goes along? Are they going to, every year they're going to include it into whatever COD's coming out? I'm very, very, very curious about that, because I don't think they should get rid of it. I think it took them too long to even get into that genre, even though there's way too much of it. It's something that's different. It's something that's out there, and I think there needs to be a balance of all the BRs, because Fortnite rules it all. And then it's followed by PUBG. That's not a whole lot of variety. Not a whole lot of choices. And even if somebody eventually just goes back playing Fortnite or goes back to playing PUBG, it's nice to have options. It's nice to have options just a player and as a viewer.
Yeah, I think we should definitely revisit it to see if they do make changes or themed events, that kind of a thing, for the COD stuff. So that was good. I'm glad that they're doing what they got to do as it relates to Call of Duty. But we should definitely keep tabs on that and see what they do, or if they do any special announcements for news and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So Rockstar, Daniela, that's been an interesting conversation the last couple of weeks. I'll say like a week and a half, 2 weeks now, in relation to long hours, 100 plus hours, in relation to Red Dead Redemption, as we're approaching the release for that, this upcoming week, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's up with that?
Well, first of all, tweeting it out, putting the information out, like it was supposed to be a badge of honor that you're having your employees work that much, that long under those conditions. No. Of course, everybody's going to be so upset about it. When everything is said and done, no, okay. First of all, my sense is nobody should ever have to work that much. I don't care. I know it comes down to money. It's always going to come down to the money thing, but I don't care what game it is. Like Cyberpunk, right. I want that game so bad, but I don't think any person, any fan, any gamer would ever want a game so bad that it would justify that the people making this game that we want to enjoy so much to work 100-hour weeks or even 70-hour week. Like developers have a life. They have a family. Yeah, they do need to work and provide for them, but they need to have a life. That mental awareness and being able to take care of yourself, I guess for me, mentally, spiritually, physically, if you can't take care of yourself in your own personal life because you're just being drained to the bone for the people that you're working for, that will show in your work. That will show in your game. That will show, period. And I don't care what anybody says. It's just like, I feel if you have people working that many hours, you're bound to make mistakes.
Okay.
You're bound to make mistakes. It's going to be left for your QA team to like, oh, there's a bug here. That maybe if you were given ample time to be able to take your time to work through something and not power through it, you probably wouldn't have made that mistake. Or you probably would have noticed that before you got pushed onto your QA team.
Okay.
So I think that's absolutely ridiculous. And now like, oh, their HR team says like, oh, you can go ahead and openly speak out about, your experience working here. I'm sorry. Even if I was an employee there and they told me, yeah, you can go ahead and talk about it. You won't have any repercussions for it. We won't do anything about it. Right. I'm not going to say anything because I don't trust you.
It's an interesting thing. I try to take it with some different angles though, right?
Okay, what is it?
If you really enjoy the project that you're working on, morale is high, right? Company culture is great, and if you got a crunch time to make sure the project comes out on time, and you're okay with that, then I don't think that's a bad thing. I know that's not necessarily the situation because it always seems like when we hear news like that, we always hear like how bad, this group has it and stuff like that. But there's some individuals who probably love the crunch time because they want to make sure the product goes out on time and as scheduled. There's not everybody complaining about the 100-hour weeks. And I kind of try to look at it that way too, because it's like, is everybody complaining? It's not everybody complaining. Somebody's like, yo, that level design I put down on, man, y'all going to see this next week. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody's really happy about that. So if the culture is great, if the morale is great, the people get along great, and that really boosts productivity, it just does, and I think I look at even some of the stuff that we do here. I mean, we're not doing like a daily show. We're not. But in terms, there's been days where I was like, okay, we have to record this week. What are we shifting around to make it happen? It wasn't like, hey, and Bison dictator here, let's make sure that this happens no matter what and your family suffers for it. It's nothing like that. But it's been something where, okay, Friday doesn't work. What about Saturday? Saturday earlier or Saturday later? Can we at least make sure that we get something out, because we don't want to push 2 weeks over because, we didn't get a chance to really talk about the things that were happening that week. And so I kind of look at it that way. If morale is great, company culture is great, you're going to grind those hours to make sure that everybody who put work into that particular project is going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
It's my thought on it.
I see what you're going at. And there are instances where that does happen. But there has to be a balance. There really has to. It's like, hey, I need you for the next year, the entire team, to be putting in these 100+ hours. No, that's crazy. If it's that last push.
Right.
Like, okay, we're a little bit behind this month, team. We got to crank this stuff out. I personally would think that, all right, game is released. Your work is kind of done. The only team that we really need is if they have servers or something, that some like maybe core programmers. Yeah, most of you take that vacation that you haven't been able to do. Take, some liberal leave. Go spend some time with your family that you haven't seen for a bit. There has to be some type of balance to offset it. If you're constantly just putting them to that grind and like, no, we need this now, get it done by here. And it's like kind of just really super ridiculous where they feel like they have a gun to their head to do something. No.
Okay. Can I add
there has to be
Can I add? I want to add. I want to add to this because I think this is a great conversation. The balance, right? For us specifically, if you're not recording a week because we're a team, I don't think I want to record that week. So that tension could be there. So when we do record next time together, then everyone benefits from that. I benefit from that. You benefit from that. And then the people who listen to us benefit from that. So I think that even that break may feel like, man, IRL took place. Life hit, right? We can't record this week, but I don't want to do it solo. I could, right? You could if I can't make it. You don't want to, but you could, right? But we much rather wait for us to get back on. And I think that has made the show even better. I'm biased, obviously, when we have made those, I wouldn't necessarily call it sacrifice, but I think that realizing that we both benefit from when we're both on versus when we're just doing one show, because what tends to happen that I've noticed in past conversations is if I do the show solo, because I've had this conversation off the grid with some other individuals, if I do the show solo and you're not there, then it's like, man, I wanted to hit on that point that you made, but I wasn't there. So now we're doing a breakdown of the solo conversation because you weren't able to be on the thing, which is cool. That's cool that we can do that. But at least we appreciate the fact that, we appreciate each other's input, where when you're not there, it feels like the show suffers now, right? Because of the parts that we've created for the platform. So yeah, I could do the show solo. So for those who've wondered, I've done it solo for a long time, right? But I don't have to, right? And I think that there's the beauty in that too. So
there's a whole song and dance to it, and it always has to be in step, the event.
Word. So that's what's going on with that. So Rockstar, I want to see that game. Daniela, you like pirates, you don't like cowboys, so that's what's up with that.
Do these cowboys eventually have the option to be pirates, or are these formerly reformed pirates?
I have no idea. No idea. Enhanced Xbox 360 backwards compatibility updated. I saw some dope titles in there. If I was looking at the right thing, let me pull this up real quick. Let me pull this up here. Half-Life 2, Portal, Left 4 Dead, and Left 4 Dead 2. Classic Valve titles now in enhanced Xbox 360 backwards compatibility collection. If that's your thing, definitely check that out. Any thoughts on that?
Yes and no, but it's not. It's actually kind of indirectly. I think I'll add it on later on, though.
Okay.
I'll put it into there. I'll add it.
Sweet.
Yeah, we can move on.
Sweet. Days Gone. Delayed. Days Gone delayed. I don't know. There's a joke in there somewhere, but I was trying to find it. But yeah, you got to wait on that, basically. It's delayed. That's all I have there. Thoughts on that?
It's funny because I want to play Days Gone, but I very easily forget about the game at the same time. It's a title I want to play.
What is it about?
But
again?
It's not a.
No, seriously. What is it about?
Zombies. All zombies.
Got it.
But I forget about it very often.
Okay.
I don't know why. Up until somebody mentions it again, I'm like, oh right, I want to play that game. So then when they announced that it was going to be delayed, I was like, that's okay. I keep forgetting about it anyways.
Right.
I don't know what that says about how good the marketing for this game is coming out if I keep forgetting about it. Not that everybody else does. I know there's a lot of people who want to play it, and I still want to play it. I don't mind. I don't mind waiting. I really don't. I mean, if they have to work less hours, balance. Like I said, balance here. There's no need to rush it.
Right.
I'm good.
Fair enough. So you have that. Counter-Strike Pro caught cheating. That was interesting. And I also saw another thing with a FIFA Pro getting up and walking out because the guy scored a goal on him that he didn't appreciate. I guess he's used to having different antics and stuff like that when he plays FIFA. And apparently he's going to be done. That's not in the notes, but I thought that was interesting. I saw that this week. But this Counter-Strike, that was interesting. They caught him midstream, and he was trying not to let them touch the PC. So, I mean, I guess that's the thing. That's not the first time, though, that they caught him. This is the second, so he might be done with Counter-Strike. Thoughts on that?
That's ridiculous. First of all, that's super embarrassing. It's obviously embarrassing to Optic. Optic is a pretty well-known household esport name. Embarrassing for him. But I'm sorry. There's no way that his teammates don't know he was cheating. And I feel that's why they released the rest of the team to go find other adventures and stuff. Like, come on. How do you not know your teammate is cheating? How do you, like, when you found out that he was, and that's what he used the aimbot, that's what he was caught with. Like, how do you not convince your own teammate, like, dude, don't screw this up? Or were they thinking that, like, oh, if he gets caught, only he's in trouble. They'll only get rid of him. Like, did you not think that it would affect you too?
They probably thought that it was going to be
the world just saw you cheat. Like, you need to go and just change your gamer tag. Never ever use that gamer tag anymore because you're just going to be harassed for your cheating ways. Internet doesn't forget. CS:GO, internet never forgets.
Yeah, that's
like it's done.
That's tight. I don't know. How do you recover from that? So you have that situation. If you haven't seen that, definitely check that out. Tekken 7 sells 3 million copies. Tekken has always been dope on the FGC scene. So kudos to them. Thoughts on that?
No, not really.
You good on that? Cool.
Yeah, I guess I'm okay with that.
Are you okay with that? Red Dead Redemption launch trailer. I'm going to have a link for that in the show notes. I'm excited, but I'm not excited for another ongoing game that I may want to play. It's very tough. Well, so you're going to have these different things that you can do in Red Dead. You're going to have these individuals that you can talk to. You're going to have all these different things that you can do in the world. And I'm sure they're going to constantly implement and add things to it. You know, going back to what we were saying before, incentive to play the game. Maybe it's a daily stuff they're going to add or weekly stuff they're going to add. I can't do another one of those titles right now. I can't. Not for a long time.
How long is a long time?
Not like the main game I play right now. Like it's like 3-4 years in at this point. That's a long time.
I think you can do it. I believe in you.
I believe in you too, Daniela. So that's what's going on with that. Red Dead Redemption launch trailer is going to be in the show notes. I did see Mega SG. This is a super duper Sega Genesis for the new world or the new generation, however you want to say that. It's on the Analog website, ANALOGUE. It's called Mega SG, and it's a beauty to look at. I mean, this thing is really, really fantastic. Welcome to next level, Sega CD in HD, high definition graphics, 1080p with zero lag. The controller looks pretty. Can you link that, Daniela, real quick?
Yeah.
In the chat,
I can.
This thing is pretty, and I was a big Genesis fan, so to see this thing, I'm like, whew, man. So if you haven't seen that and you've done the Genesis thing back in the day, I think they also have one called Super NT. which is the Super Nintendo version of their stuff. And apparently they had hints of this particular system, this console getting ready to come out, for a while now. And now they're, they have the branding on their website and stuff like that. So, definitely check it out. I'm interested. I mean, I'm looking at this thing. It's just like, it's pretty. It's really nice to look at.
Yeah, in the trend of all these minis, the NES mini, the Super Nintendo mini, possibly the N64 mini, them coming out with, these whole revamped of the old school consoles, I'd rather invest into something like this. Because, okay, I do have the Super NES mini, and that thing's awesome. I love it. If I could ever get my hand on the NES mini as well, too, I will. I want it. But they're limited. Unless you're going to hack it to be able to run additional ROMs on it, which is a very questionable, ethical thing there. Those are the games that are on there, or the games that you have. That's it. Where you have this that's coming out, which they do have plans to release cartridges, adapters to play other Sega systems as well too. That opens up a whole new world of other things. And personally, growing up, the Sega Genesis, Sega CD, that was my jam. That was my favorite console. Hands down. Don't at me. That's it. I have absolutely no problems. Just like, yes, you're mine. And I will buy you.
And these mini classics are preloaders, where the popular games are there. And I like a lot of older, non-popular games. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. This is definitely a treat. If especially, I mean, I looked at the design, I was like, wow, that's really neat. So I really like what they're doing. And it's a 6-button
layout too.
I'm trying to see if I want to move some stuff around to actually close out with the Destiny stuff, because I may be a little bit more long-winded there. So you did post a limited run games PS1 to HDMI adapter. What's going on with that? That looks pretty dope too.
That was because you were talking about the whole backwards compatibility for 360. So this little adapter that came out this past week, actually I think it was the last couple days. I think I found it yesterday, so I didn't really. My mind's all over the place. But so it's an adapter that you can throw in line from your PS1, PS2, because it had that weird attachment to hook up to your TV. That's not a norm. It's not an HDMI because that wasn't available then. That you put in there, so it has an HDMI out. And I think that is awesome because currently if I wanted to play PS1, PS2 games, I actually have to bring out my HD PVR Hauppauge, which is super OG, and a hassle. It is a huge hassle to set that thing in because it is not compact. It is this huge box with all these cables. This thing is just a cable adapter. You still, you plug in, you plug it into it has that weird, I don't know what that PlayStation adapter thing was called. One that was like kind of weirdly shaped like an L. I have no clue. But it goes that out to HDMI. You can go put that into your captured card or whatever you're using, or straight into your TV, have that beautiful 1080 that you want out of your PS1, PS2 games. I thought that was sick. That is, of course, if you still have your PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. I don't have a PS1 anymore, but I do have my PS2. And I was like, yes. Because I will not play it for PlayStation Now or whatever it is that's called for their older game library. I still have my PS2 library. So I was pretty stoked on that one. And it's, you know what? It's super affordable. It's $30.
It's pretty dope.
So yeah,
PS Now. Nope.
My PS Now is when I can have my own cable adapter and hook up my PlayStation 2. That's my PS Now. My God, cleaning out my apartment and sorting through things because I've been getting rid of stuff. Did not touch anything in my game library. I have an amazing amount of PS2 games on my shelves. Yes, this needs to happen.
You got stuff. Word.
So, there's that.
There is that. Screaming Villains Double Switch coming to PC, PS4, December 11th, 2018. Screaming Villains.
Okay, so if you remember that name, it was because I freaked out when they brought back the Night Trap 25th Anniversary Edition.
Right. Remember that?
And when Night Trap came out, I said my two absolutely favorite Sega CD games was Night Trap and Double Switch. And
Ah.
I saw that they tweeted it out. They had Corey Haim in there. I was a Haim. I don't care if I'm showing my age here. I don't care. When the Corey and Corey era was going on, I was all about Corey Haim. Rest in peace for that, dear man. But oh my goodness, I am like my two favorite Sega CD games, and I get to play them on PC or PlayStation. I was like, whoo. Merry Christmas to me.
Right. This is all me here. That's dope.
So, yeah, it is. Oh my goodness. And it looks good, and it looks as cheesy and awesome. Oh, so good. I can't wait.
Dope.
Screaming Villains. I think that they're going to work with Limited Run Games, which is the one that does adapters. I think they're going to make the physical copies for it, because that's where Night Trap was on as well. So, who's getting Double Switch? I'm getting Double Switch.
We got the dance, so you know Danielle is excited.
And I am. And Sosa says, they do allow you to download the games now, so you don't need to worry about the stream disc game, but the sub is what gets me. Yeah, I don't want to pay for the subscription for the PS now. I'm over that. Nope.
Yeah, can't do it. Okay, so you have that. All right, so question for you. Politics in your games? Do you want it? Don't want it? Care? Don't care?
Prefer not to have it in my games.
Okay.
But I think good content can actually come from having what's going on in the world in it. And what I mean by that, it's like I saw you post this question, and it actually kind of got me thinking about American Horror Story, which isn't a game; it's a TV series.
Right.
But I'm a season behind, and I started watching the last season. I can't remember what the name of the season is actually called. But it is very, very heavily to do with the politics and about Trump, and it's a very interesting take. It's like a very scary take, and not scary politics takes, like scary horror takes on how somebody could. I'm not that far in, but right now the episodes that I have watched, I think the first two, how somebody who has different phobias and concerns, and how it can trigger those phobias of what's going on in the real world and make them paranoid about what's happening and concerned. And I think deep down, everybody has somewhat of those kind of fears based off of what's going on in the world. Maybe not to the point where they have phobias and have to put it on medication, but it is a scary thought to think that, there's one person really that can have so much control about what happens in the world that you live in.
Mm-hmm.
It affects not even just by laws, but by the people that, that support whoever may be in control and whoever may be running the country. And that doesn't just stand for the U.S. This literally can go for any country. And I think that can be turned into making a very good content for movies, for the entertainment industry in general.
True.
And in video games, depending on how you put it into there. I'm not fully opposed to it. It depends on how it's implemented. So it says, or someone like me with anxiety where news makes me anxious, and then some of these are put into video games, things I use and escape at times from the real world.
Okay. Interesting you brought that, So here's another one for you, Daniela. Okay, so I there's something I want to share with you. I think I have a new phobia.
You too?
Yeah, this one is very interesting. I call it the allegation-phobia.
Allegation-phobia? What's that?
Yeah. So, like, I am so cautious on dealing with human beings these days, whether they call my phone or I have to text a female or anything that can remotely come back to me 8 years from now that I contacted somebody at a particular time that they felt very uncomfortable about. And all of a sudden, anything that I have put in place for, my brand and stuff like that can be destroyed in a matter of seconds. Am I exaggerating? I don't think I'm exaggerating. Am I exaggerating, Daniela?
No.
I don't think I'm exaggerating. Okay, so
Well,
the reason I don't think I'm exaggerating is because I saw this thing a couple of days ago of this 9-year-old boy falsely accused of sexual assault. Okay, from this lady. It was just like, okay, so my thing is like, is this Me Too now a weapon now? In some cases, where you'd believe the woman before you believe me, and I could be completely innocent, especially when it comes to this. And the context of what I'm specifically talking about, stuff like that, where you accuse me of something, didn't do it, and there's witnesses that saw that I didn't do it, but yet you still have this thing in your mind that I could have done it. So don't call me, don't text me, don't write me, don't get in my car. Okay. Ever. Okay. Now your friends, don't bring them over. If your mother's not here, they're not coming over. Like it's really bad. I just had to share. I had to get that out. Okay, I'm good now.
that I think that's a reasonable thing to be scared and concerned about. But no, there really isn't no but. I mean,
Okay, let me tell you. Just the other day, I don't know, maybe I shared this with you. Just the other day, I told somebody, "Is it okay if I text you?" It was a
I've
female.
asked people that before.
It's a female. No, I had to ask. I was like, I would never ask this a couple of years ago. Like, is it okay if I text you? Because and she was like, yeah, you dudes are getting a bad rap right now. I was like, I gotta ask. Even to the point where if I want to compliment somebody, usually it's a female, I'm gonna ask them, hey, is it all right if I'm asking you if it's all right for me to compliment you because, hey, I don't know how you're gonna take that. You may go crazy. I don't know, but that's how bad it's gotten.
I think to a certain degree it's nice. I think it's courteous and I want to say chivalrous, but I think it definitely should be on both sides of it because I was raised from a young age to ask somebody, is it okay if I call? Is it okay if I write? And it obviously translated to, is it okay to text you or however means of communication? Because some people just don't like it. Yeah, here's my number, but they'll give you the number in case of emergency or if it's something that's really desperate. Doesn't mean that they necessarily like receiving phone calls or like receiving text messages. And as out of curiosity or not curiosity, courtesy, I've always done that. Doesn't matter if it's male or female. I think, obviously as a gentleman, that's really nice to do. The whole compliment thing, yeah, I can understand why you have to ask somebody if it's okay to compliment them.
To.
It really is.
I gotta do
you
it.
kind of have to now because I'm at this phase in my life where, I understand and I fully support the Me Too movement.
Right.
But I'm also at this point where past that, outside the whole wider picture of a lot of things,
Right.
the generation is very sensitive.
Right. Even
Very, very, very sensitive.
even the wording I got to change. I can't tell a female she looks good. I can't. Right. I gotta be like, yo, you look dope. Yo, you doing it. It's hot. I'm feeling that. I can't be. It's even the wording can be dangerous. Right. I was talking to someone recently, and I was sharing with them this constant of having to frame these different scenarios in my mind as it relates to dealing with human beings, right? Obviously. And in this particular situation, I was right about my assessment and theories and how it ended up playing out. But at the same time, it's like, why do I have to do all this math to deal with human beings? I can't shoot straight. Like I have to frame things in such a different way now, strategically, to even get to a place where, okay, yeah, are we even having a genuine conversation at this point? I think it's interesting before we even get to the Festival of the Lost thing, which I want to talk about before we close out. But I just wanted to share that. I just wanted to air that out, that I have allegation-phobia. I'm not going to name the episode that. I could, but I'm not. But it's crazy. But yeah, go ahead, Danielle.
It is, and it's like So said. He had a similar thing. He accidentally called a female friend who was in a relationship sweetie and apologized because I was afraid she would take it the wrong way. And he also loves calling my generation the butthurt generation. Yeah, I mean, okay, the whole butthurt generation, I think, also goes to the older generation and goes to the younger generation. I think it's just this huge thing where everybody, I think, like your allegation-phobia, I think everybody kind of suffers from that in some way or fashion, but they're also take things like I think people read between the lines when there's really nothing there. Like sometimes it is, and it really has to do with your delivery of something. Like I think everybody, not just women but men too, have to see how a compliment is delivered to them. If somebody goes like, "Oh, you look very good today," or "You look attractive," or "You look handsome," if it's said in such a way where like, "Hey, Andrew, you look very good today," it's not like somebody's coming out there and is like, "Hey, Poppy, you looking like a tall glass of water over there." Like,
Oh, hey, hey. All right now.
There's two different ways of saying it. Both of them are a compliment, but obviously the second way is just like, "Yo, okay, you just took it to like 100 and beyond there," but that's not appropriate, especially if it's just kind of like, "Well, you just said that you look handsome today. Like, did you have to go that whole like 9 yards or whatever?"
Word.
And if I get a compliment that's nice and respectful, I always say thank you. I don't ever like take it of like, "Damn, you're just trying to like hit on me" or something like that, because there are men out there who generally just mean exactly just that. And I think there's some women who can be so into themselves in which they think like, "Oh, he's just trying to hit on me and just trying to get my number." I'm like, no, maybe he's just trying to be a really nice guy. And then, you know what? Men on the flip side need to understand what a compliment is just a compliment, and no, she isn't just trying to sleep with you. Maybe she just wanted to say, just be a nice person, because men like to receive compliments too. Like, "Hey, you look good." It really just depends on the tone and the delivery. And I think that fact has remained true throughout time. It's just like you can't apply that to every single person, that they just have some alternative motives. And for me, I think that has to do, and the reason why that got worse, that habit, has to do with social media, because there's people who will send out subtweets and they won't call out somebody. So people are reading between the lines of literally everything. And they're seeing things there that aren't necessarily there, and they are making assumptions of things off of words. And I think that carries on into real world interactions when they're looking into it when there's nothing more.
I'm glad you said that, because I barely tweet now, just specifically for that reason. Like, if I have something that I want to share, I would much rather share it here, which I've mentioned in the past, so I'm not going to go into all that, because I don't want that to get diluted or taken out of context or anything like that. So you have that whole thing, or I'll just make a phone call, hit that safe line. Everybody got a safe line they can hit. Okay. You should have a safe line you can hit. Be like, "Yo, fam, I'm going to walk off this bridge if you don't do, if you don't do something about this right now." So I have to call a safe line. And I think that has helped me navigate a lot of stuff. Let's say that.
But right now, I think the other problem that's happening is that I see more often than not is people digging into your past and taking something that passed you, whatever it may be, and twisting. Kind of like, what is it? The director for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
Something that he tweeted out like 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
It's not safe, man.
For me, yeah, there you go. Gunn. James Gunn, right? For me, the way that I see it is, yes, people say stupid things. People have dumb actions. I always look at are they the same person that they are today? If they are continuing to do the same thing that they were doing or what they said 7 years ago, 8 years ago, a year ago,
excuse me,
and they haven't changed,
yeah,
then yeah, okay. Yeah, go ahead. Be mad at that person for not growing and adapting. But if from that time forward, they've improved themselves, they're a better human being, they act a different way, they present themselves a different way, they're not the same person.
Right. So anything that I've said in the last 9 years on the show probably was stupid. Probably was. Okay.
There's probably stuff like there's probably something that I can do that's going to be dumb tonight or dumb tomorrow that I'm not going to think has anything negative about it, but I could surely something can happen. Anything can happen that maybe, 5 years from now, a year from now, I was like, man, why did I do that? Why did I say that? Kind of thing. And I would hope that somebody wouldn't hold it over me. Like if I was wrong, I can accept when I'm wrong. As long as that person can accept at that time, it's like, yeah, okay, what I did was wrong. That was stupid. I get it. That's kind of like being mad at somebody for, the dumb actions they did when they were teenagers. Was like, oh, why did you? I have no clue what to say. I can't even think of something like that. But like, oh, why did you, ditch school this day? That was just dumb. Like, can't trust you. Although okay. I can't believe I'm going to bring this up because I didn't want to bring it up before like the last show, but Kavanaugh.
Okay, Daniela.
Now that is actually a different story. If it is an action that you did, an actual physical action to another person,
right?
That's a completely different thing. That is a completely different thing. If it is an action that you did to someone and it hurt and negatively impacted that somebody, that it,
define
kind of
hurt and negatively impacted, because some people can be like, okay, you pointed a finger at me or you touched my shoulder and that made me uncomfortable. So therefore, ... It can get crazy right now.
It can be. And I think that's all going to be, that's going to vary for every person. I can say for me, if somebody tapped your shoulder that you didn't like and that hurt and scarred you for the next 20 years of your life, it's a tap on the shoulder. Get over it. But if that was not your shoulder and it was your inner thigh.
Hey, whoa.
And that left you with some insecurities and trust issues.
True.
Then yeah, I mean, you should be held accountable. That's just not right. Especially if when you're a 40, 50-year-old man who's trying to justify what you did then, and to say that person, the way that they feel and how they carried on after that that's not my fault. I had nothing to do with it. That was a whole other me. And make them feel like how they felt for the last decade, 2 decades, however many it was they had no right to feel that way. No, I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you're going for. That is unforgivable.
Yeah.
But if it's because Johnny stole your apple juice.
Johnny.
Get over it.
Yeah, it can get crazy. Oh, I feel so much better, Danielle. Thank you for having me on the couch for a little bit. To listen to my issues. Context is everything. All right, so anything else before we move on?
Sick Nasty over here is my horror story grind is done. Just got done and I have to say LOL. I'm going to enjoy the haunted work. I like how he comes in this is how I enter your serious conversation.
Yes.
But he is ready. He came in at the perfect time.
Yes.
For your Destiny talk.
All right, so we talked about the ongoing game. We talked about the daily grind and the weekly grind. We talked about all those things. And right now we currently have the Festival of the Lost stuff going on with Destiny 2 right now, which is really, really dope. I love it because there was incentive to play and earn something. And that something was a 600, which is the max at this time, version of the origin story, which is an assault rifle. Okay. Which has Zen Moment and Rampage on it on the horror story, and it has Rampage on the original version. So the horror story is the new one, which is dope, 600 power max, and then the origin story is the first version, which is still dope if you like to use that gun. So that was the thing. So you had to get these things called fragmented souls. Okay, so Destiny super fans, please correct me if I'm saying anything crazy. And then you collect the bounties from Amanda Holiday, and then you go into this haunted forest, which is what do you call it? It's that Mercury map. So I don't remember it right now as I'm explaining this thing. So you keep going into this strike with 2 other individuals, and you have to kill these bosses, which are called nightmares. Okay. And once you kill the boss, it kind of respawns to the beginning of the thing, and then you rinse and repeat and do it all over again. You don't even go to orbit. You just rinse and repeat right at the beginning when you start it, and then goes into it again. So you have 15 minutes to do as many of those as possible. When you put a mask on, it gives you perks, right? The Infinite Forest. Thank you so much, Taco. So now you're in there, and you're going through killing things. You're doing your bounties, and your bounties can give you 1 or 2 fragmented souls here and there. Once you get to about 80 fragmented souls by going into the Infinite Forest multiple times, 7 rounds, I think I made it to 8. I think there's 8. So 7, you get an achievement, you get a triumph. Yeah, so we got a chance to go into that. So once you finish that whole thing, towards the end, you have to walk to a chest. If you're not careful, it opens up the floor. You get dropped into a nightmare, and you have to figure out how to get out of that little box that you're dropped into, kind of like a trap door that drops kind of thing. So that's really fun. So typically you get about 6 or 7 fragmented souls if you go all the way to the end, quote unquote, for the chest, right? So once you get to about 80, if you do the weekly bounty, that gives you 40. And I think you need 120 for the assault rifle, which is the horror story, and that gives you a masterwork origin story with reload perk, I think, reload masterwork on there, and that's what you get for 600. What's good about that, according to what the conversation that surrounds that, is if you do that first and then you do everything else, then your level bump is going to be different, especially with Iron Banner going on right now, which ends, I'm sure, on Tuesday. And then the Festival of the Lost ends, I believe, November 6th, right? That's the situation with that. So I really enjoyed that because I felt like I was striving towards something, and then earning that puts me in a better, definitely Destiny talk. Right? Definitely Destiny talk. So now that I've done the horror story stuff for the assault rifle, now I can work towards the Redrix's broadsword. And that's a whole nother thing, right? Because the section that I'm at right now with the particular quest step is you have to do 25 regular multiplayer matches, 25 free-for-all, and then 25 competitive matches, right? Gotta have my D2 talk. Gotta have it. I just have to have it. So now that's the section I'm at right now. So I'm at 25, did the regular ones. I did the 25 free-for-alls. I'm at 23 of 25 for the comp. Once I do that, then I have to reset my Valor rank 5 times. I think that's the thing. And once I do that, then I can go get the Redrix's broadsword. So that's my next thing. Sleeper I still want, which is a dope gun as well. Bygones I was able to get, and finally I was able to get the inaugural address, which is one of my favorite pulse rifles. Finally got through the raid and got that. I've been hanging out in the what do you call that spot? What do you call that thing? The Whisper Heroic. Been jumping around in the puzzles in there. Been having a good time trying to get that essence to fill the little box to upgrade the weapon. So Festival of the Lost has been fun. Destiny overall has been great. I've been having a good time doing that. I think that as long as they're incentive to play those modes, they've done a fantastic job since they bounced back from their messing up to the game that we have now. And that's where we're at, present day. Festival of the Lost is really good. Impressions, I dig it. And if you haven't done it yet, definitely get a 600 weapon before November 6th. And I think it's probably one of the easiest quests that you can do for a gun.
Man, that Destiny grind.
Yeah, it's there. It's there.
Talk Justice says that was fun. So says, yep, just got Forsaken today, and I already love it over the other 2 DLCs.
Yeah, Forsaken is really, really, really good. And that's all we have. If you guys have any questions, please do a lightning round in the chat. And if not, we'll begin to wrap up. Danielle, what do you think? You got any thoughts?
The last 2 thoughts. So I'll be at TwitchCon this week. I leave Wednesday. I know I opened it up with that. I will be running around the showroom floor as much as I possibly can. If anybody is attending, hit me up. You can hit me up on Twitter, or if you see me, stop, chat. I mean, I don't bite. I give hugs or whatever is physical accepted gestures, fist bumps, head nods, whatever you're okay with.
Oh, man.
If hugs are too much. I never know. I like giving hugs, and I realize that.
Yeah, you're a hugger.
Maybe
you're a hugger.
It hugs, and I always feel bad because, I used to stutter when people used to put their hands out to shake, and I already am going in for that hug, and they're like, "Oh my god!" And I probably should think if they actually want that hug or not.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do know she's participating in the Dream Streamer joint.
Yeah, thanks, Shintel. Yeah, and that's the other thing. If anybody wants to vote for me, you can head over to avermedia.com/event/dream-streamer, or find a link on my Twitter somewhere for there too.
Yeah, we talked about that at the top of the show. We definitely mentioned that first. One of the first things we mentioned. Did we miss anything? The drops are so sweet after you have 600 Auto Rifle Horror Story. Looking forward to the drops. Forsaken, congrats on Forsaken. I dig it. I think the game is great. So much to do. It's overwhelming, but it's exciting at the same time. Yeah. And vote for DJ.
Well, everybody, if anybody else hasn't any questions, you need a little bit more time. I forgot to talk about the bag. The bag that I bought.
The bag, yes.
The bag that I bought for this. So it's a little bit smaller than I thought it was going to be, but I'm actually still going to stick with this size. This because TwitchCon does have that bag limit, and I don't really want to carry a mini backpack, really. So this is like it's a side bag. It actually, I'll openly say this. They do have an attachment if you live in a state that has concealed carry, and you can do that. There, you can get a holster thing. I will not be carrying, okay? Not. Just to let everybody know. It looked like a little Tomb Raider bag because Andrew said that's what it looked like, and he was not about that for a man.
I can't do it for me. I can't.
Okay. But okay, so it's going to carry everything, and it has these little pockets. So this is pretty much credit cards, business cards, whatever cards, pens. My phone goes in this pocket. But it's amazing what this thing can carry, because in this pocket, I have my cables. I have both of my mics in here.
Nice.
All of my cables. They're all packed into there. Even the Ceremonic adapter.
Yeah, tell them which mic for the new listeners. Tell them which mic. Which mic you rocking now?
I don't remember the model number.
Is it X8500?
It is the Behringer Ultra Voice XM8500. They both fit in here.
Word.
See, both fit in there with the cable, and the Ceremonic Smart Rig 2. No, this isn't sponsored. I did pay for all of these things on my own. Although if they would like to just hit up Show Radio here.
Oh, snap.
But it carries all my XLR cables too, because then there's a back pocket for the bigger cables, and it just all sits around my waist and attached to my leg, and I can feel safe. I don't have to worry. Okay, here's the bad thing.
Oh,
I probably am one of those people who I carry a purse regularly, but I'm also notorious for forgetting it places. I'll put it down and just walk off unless it's strapped to me somehow, like a backpack. I can't carry a backpack. Not a fanny pack. It doesn't go in the front. It actually attaches to my side. Side. So this top portion, this longer one, I gotta take off thing, goes around my waist, whereas this smaller one here goes around my thigh. So nobody can really steal it. And then there's also an additional little side pocket here, which I have the 3-foot XLR cable and my splitter.
Yeah, throw the link in the chat and the show notes so we can have that.
But I'm stoked on it. I am so stoked. There is a slightly bigger one. I probably will not buy that one for a while.
You probably don't need that.
I don't. No, I don't. That one I think is the perfect size for me, because I really don't want to be carrying around a whole lot of stuff. I really like having the freedom of just being able to have both of my hands available and open too.
So you can give hugs.
Yes, so I can give hugs. Word. All the hugs.
When are you going to build you a PC, Uriah? Gotta welcome you to the race and the Church of Unlimited Frames. Let me know, bro. Once you go PC, you can't go to anything else. Okay, so that's interesting. A PC conversation is interesting because I'm actually having a data server built for me here, which means that I'll probably start using my old laptop again for just, computing stuff. This current laptop is an Origin PC that my friend let me use. It's on like a super, super extended loan right now. Thank God for him. And I don't know, just plug and play streaming for the broadcasting through the PS4 is cool with me right now. The only PC that's going to get built soon is that server. So I think it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 2TB drives in it, interlinking each other, whatever you call that, super PC people, whatever that's called. And that's going to have a NAS. That's a free NAS server that he's building for me right now, which is exciting.
You so fancy.
I'm trying to get there.
That's all I got. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
That's all I got. So definitely, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us today. You guys are really, really appreciated. Music in this episode, intro, outro, is brought to you by DJ Cutman. He does great stuff with Game Chops. He supplied the intro, outro, so I'm grateful for that. And that is all I have, guys. Thanks for listening. Daniela, please close us out.
Thanks for tuning into our podcast. You can find the show radio on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And if you haven't yet, head over to Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcatchers and subscribe, rate, and review our show. For our show notes, donation options, visit theshowradio.info. And thanks for tuning in, and see you guys on the next one.